You have always been Missouri's greatest resource. We hope that this podcast, as it focuses on showcasing state and local resources, as well as success stories from individuals and families just like you who are overcoming great adversity, will inspire you to live a life beyond limitation. Melissa D. Wolf is the Deputy Division Director for Income Maintenance Policy through Family Support Division. Melissa oversees policy for Medicaid, temporary assistance for needy families, and the food stamp or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance or the SNAP program. She works closely with field operations and other federal partners. In this episode, Melissa discusses the Blind, Aged, and Disabled Medicaid program.
Good morning, Melissa Wolf. You are the Deputy Director of the Family Support Division.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to take time out of your schedule to visit with us and kind of educate some Missourians, especially the folks with developmental disability, on the different programs and services offered through Family Support Division, MoHealthNet. So maybe you could kind of give us kind of a little bit of information about what the Family Support Division is.
Absolutely. Well, first I want to say thank you for letting me come and talk about our programs today. I always enjoy talking to individuals and educating about what Family Support Division has and what we can offer. So we offer a variety of different programs. Probably some of the most famous ones are, food stamp program or the SNAP program. We also offer temporary assistance, childcare. But Medicaid is probably one that is the most well-known. And so we have basically two different arms of Medicaid. We have the MoHealthNet for age, blind, and disabled, which would be those individuals who are permanently and totally disabled, over the age of 65, could be blind. Those also include nursing home cases. There's a variety of that the MoHealthNet for the age, blind, and disabled program can offer. So that's one arm of the Medicaid program.
So main arms kind of in summary are disability related. And then lastly, you've got kind of more of an income-based side.
Correct.
So both of them look at income.
Correct. I was going to say both look at income. There's different eligibility under both the family or the age, blind, and disabled, as we call it. And we can get into those, a little more in detail if you want. There are some general eligibility requirements for both arms, so we can talk about those if you want.
Yeah, why don't we kind of talk about just kind of the general eligibility requirements, and then let's kind of dig down a little bit and talk a little bit about each program or each arm.
Absolutely. So some of the things that are required for both arms is citizenship or qualified alien status. You need to be a resident of Missouri. So you need to provide a social security number and income verification, and MHABD or the age, blind, and disabled require resource determination. And also, if there's multiple people in the household, we will require that family relationship, or maybe it's not family, but that relationship established.
As it relates to both of those bigger programs, we kind of hit the main eligibility. You've got to be a citizen, you've got to provide us some income, resource, that type of thing. But now kind of get into the specifics of what eligibility is going to look like for either one of those programs.
So I'll start with the age, blind, and disabled population. So obviously the age is 65 or older. So if you don't meet that age, then we explore permanent and totally disabled. We have a couple different ways you could verify disability. Obviously, if it's determined from Social Security, that is considered verified. We also have a medical review team, so our MRT process, which can review medical records. If you haven't been determined by Social Security, we can explore looking at our medical review team to look at medical records, do an evaluation to see if maybe our review team says, hey, I think they are disabled. Let's go ahead. They don't meet the age requirement yet, but they are permanently and totally disabled. So that's two ways we can look at it. That medical review team can also look at blindness. And then, so that kind of sets once you meet those, then we start looking at income. Do you meet the income for a single person for MHABD, which I'll refer to as that age, blind, and disabled? A single person is $904 a month, is that income limit. But I want to say this, that even if you go over that 904, there are some other options. And a lot of times you hear about the spin down program. So it would be the difference between that income limit and what your income is that an individual would need to spend each month on their medical bills before Medicaid could take over. So even if you're slightly over that income limit, I think it's important to still explore, because there could still be some options too. So this, for a couple, it's $1,222. And again, it's that same, even if you're over, you spend a portion of your income to get there. So that's the income, and that's the non-spin down or spin down, and how that would work.
So it's really important that when individuals, families are beginning to approach Family Support Division, if there's a perceived disability, to talk about it, to say, we think that there's a disability. So let me ask you this, because you made a comment before about evaluation. So what if I don't have anything to support? I believe that I've got a disability, but maybe I don't have anything that supports it.
And we see that often, because if you don't have any kind of medical insurance or Medicaid, it's hard to go to the doctor and be seen and to kind of validate that disability. So if an individual were to come in and say, I really feel like I'm disabled, but I don't really have medical records to back that up, because I haven't gone to the doctor because I don't have anything to cover, I don't have Medicaid, I don't have any insurance. So we'll do a questionnaire and try to figure out what kind of disability we're talking about. What kind of perceived disability do you have? And that's when our medical review team really can step in and say, okay, now what kind of doctor what kind of doctor do you need to see to determine that disability? We wouldn't want to send you to a heart doctor if you don't feel like that's where your disability lies. So our medical review team will schedule some appointments and say, hey, Melissa, you need to go visit this doctor to do an evaluation, and let's explore that disability. So it's not completely off the table if you don't have medical records. Just know that it will be, we'll need to explore some kind of medical records. So we may set up an appointment to make sure you can get seen.
And is that something that Family Support Division is going to cover the cost of?
Yeah, absolutely. We cover that cost while we're in the middle of determining, when we're determining the disability, we cover the cost of that doctor's appointment. So until you are approved, if you're approved, obviously those bills would be covered ongoing until it's time for a review. But if you're denied for any reason, you don't have to pay that back either.
But to kind of summarize this down, what's the easiest way for Missourians to contact Family Support Division? Well, not necessarily easiest. What are the multitude of ways?
So Family Support Division has a multitude of ways. You can call, you can email, you can go online and apply anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Melissa, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
If you have questions about today's episode, previous episodes, or would just like general information concerning the services and supports provided by the Missouri Department of Mental Health, Division of Developmental Disabilities, please reach out to us either by calling 1-800-247-4761 or by sending us an email at information.specialist@dmh.mo.gov.